Hey, what's up, everybody? Jamie Wilkinson here. Welcome to Bullet Points, a new show where we're going to invite industry leaders from the hunting industry, shooting sports. We're going to do product reviews. We're going to have interviews. And since we all have a lot of time now, no better time to stay connected with everything we love in shooting and hunting. For our first episode, we've invited Josh Kinser of Big & J and Swagger Bipods to join us. Hey, Josh.
How's it going, guys?
We're doing good. And the cool thing is, Josh, you guys will see Josh and I on In the Hunt on GetZone.com, and we're about to launch our new series. And Josh, I've seen some of those episodes, and it's kind of cool to watch the whole year in review, all that hard work we had, fun we had with the kids and ourselves hunting this year, and I'm excited that it's about to come out again.
Yeah, I wish I was doing it right now.
So, Josh, deer management, we spend a lot of time on In the Hunt talking about deer management, practicing deer management. We've seen over the past 2 seasons, we've seen our deer get better and better every year. One of the key ingredients for that is the use of Big & J products. With everyone having some time now to social distance, there's no better time to go to your lease or your farm or your ranch to work on deer management. What are some things people need to be focusing on right now? What are some Big & J products that they could be using to help that deer herd health?
Well, right now, you should really be focusing on your minerals. And a lot of people get kind of mixed up that, hey, they need more minerals now because they're starting to grow their antlers, and that's partly correct, but it's not exactly. So we know that about 70% of an antler is made up of protein. The other 30% is made up of minerals. And the two major components of that mineral are going to be phosphorus and calcium. And so, that's why it's important to make sure you have phosphorus and calcium in your mineral, not just salt. But if you look right behind me, you see how green we are right now. What happens when you get into March and April and this time of year, the deer are switching their diet, right? So they're getting all that clover and all that good green, not the grass, but you've got all the weeds in my yard that the deer love, that they were here. Wait, I'd done this morning, there were 4 or 5 of them right there. Actually had some axis deer here. But
You got to close that gate behind you.
Oh, no. That let them in. It's the Kinser food plot here.
Yeah.
So when the deer switch to this green, this food is lacking in mineral, right? It's very nutritious. So at a time when the deer are switching their diet, they're moving into eating all this green, and they're starting to grow their antlers, this is a time you don't want to skip out on. So you'll find that the deer will hit it really good. I like Legit best. It's got an apple flavor. Head Rush comes in 20-pound buckets. It maybe doesn't have quite the attraction power, but if it's in a place that you already have deer coming in, that's going to be a great tool. And it meets the needs of calcium and phosphorus.
So let me ask you a question about that real quick. So the countries, as you have green grass, and some parts of the country are still, it could still snow. We've always heard that the most important time to feed a deer, to give them protein, give them minerals, is post rut. I mean, when should someone in Minnesota versus someone in South Alabama when is the appropriate time to start putting minerals out? How soon? How late? 'Cause I think a lot of people wait too late and they don't take full advantage of minerals.
I like to make them available right after the rut, and the same with feed, because the body gets taken care of before the antlers do, right? So when you've got these bucks that are run down that are, they've lost 50, 60 pounds, we want their weight to get back up as fast as possible. And so obviously we're all obsessed with antlers, and that's what we're talking about. Hey, we want them to get back up, and when their bodies get back up faster, they're healthier, then they can work on their antlers. But one piece of this puzzle that also gets left out is, you have pregnant does, right? So, I mean, think about what your wife or, your sister or whatever, I mean, they're taking prenatal vitamins and all those different things that are important. Calcium is one of the most important things. So making sure that your does are staying healthy while they're pregnant through birth and through nursing is an important piece of that puzzle that I think often gets left out. So I after the rut, I like to make them available, then. And you'll see intake go up and down, So if they're eating something and they're getting that mineral content, you might not see it hit, and then all of a sudden they switch to this green stuff, and you're putting out mineral faster than, they're eating it faster than you can put it out.
Right. And then is there any secrets or any technique of where to place mineral? I mean, what's the ideal spot on your lease, your ranch, to put the product?
Well, I like to always tell people, because you get somebody. I had a guy write in a couple of years ago. He put out a mineral spot and was mad because the deer weren't coming to it. The only thing that were coming to it were his neighbor's 4 German Shepherds. Well, imagine that. A deer doesn't want to come eat a salt lick in the middle of 4 wolves. So it's location. So, and the same thing goes if I'm fishing. If I've got a buzz bait and I go out into the middle of the lake and I'm just casting that thing all day long, I'm probably not going to get hit. I got to put that buzz bait where those bass are. So I think you need to, with your mineral sites, I like to have them by water. I think that'll allow them, I've seen in the past that allows them to intake more, because you got to remember it's salt, calcium, phosphorus. They can only get a little bit in that mouth, but if they can go take a drink, come back, they can ingest a little bit more. Buy food sources is a good thing. You want it where your deer already are. If you just go dump it randomly out in the middle of the woods, you're running the risk of maybe being one of those guys on a forum talking about how it doesn't work. So
right.
You put it where they are and where they're going to come. And then once I get those established, I put it in the exact same place every year. Because once mama has her 2 twins, she teaches them it's cyclical. And so I think that's anything. You put out a feeder, and it takes deer a while to find it. Well, if you move it all around your property, yeah, you'll get deer to eat it. But when you leave that thing in the same place, and it's been, the does have taught, the young bucks that are following the older buck that knows where it is, they all learn where it is. And that's the same in nature. If there was some sort of waterfall feature that had minerals coming out, those deer are taught where that is year after year.
Right. So now we have some time to plan. People are at home. We're in April. Give me April, May, June, July product plan with Big and J products. But what should people be preparing for? And then where's the best place for them to get those products right now, especially since we're stuck at home?
Yeah, that's a good question. Well, so, those months, there's a lot of studies that have gone to show in Texas that the years that have consistent rainfall in March, April, May, June generally have larger antlers. And so you're talking about that time right at the beginning of the growth. They're just starting to come out. And when you have rain in South Texas, so that would mean we'd have more nutrition, right? So that is a crucial time in your feeding program and your management program to get deer eating. BB squared for us is a great product, not just because of the protein, but because it's 7.5% fat. And if you compare that with other proteins, you're looking at, you might find 2 or 1, but also, BB squared tastes good and it is an attractant. So when compared to other proteins, sometimes it's not real palatable. Deer, are kind of reluctant to eat it. They'll eat it, but we want them eating as much as possible at this time. So even if you can't afford to fill your feeder completely full with BB squared, because I know it is more expensive than regular protein, mix it in there with it. Make that protein a little saucier and
right.
palatable. I would hit feed, and I'm not talking about corn. Think of corn as an attractant. Like it's like candy for deer. So feeding deer corn in April and in June, it may make you see some deer and you may feel good about it, but you're not doing anything for your management plan.
Better saving your money for the fall.
Yeah, save that for the fall. And I would have out both legit and head rush. And I find that the deer go through patterns where they hit one more than the other, and that's going to be based upon what they're eating seasonally. So I think you'll find that having those two will let you see. You'll see them; they'll go up and down. But combining those with good feed is essential. So where to buy it right now? Some states are letting the academies and the Walmarts sell the non-essential products, and or other Gander Mountain and Bass Pro, Cabela's, all those. I have seen some states though that are taping all the sections outside of food. So, Tractor Supply usually carries a little bit of our stuff as well, but they really don't pick up till later in the summer.
Right.
There are a lot of online companies. Your bigger retailers all sell us online, as do we. And we're even doing a 25% off code right now on our website. It's social distance. It's the code, but
that's the code. The discount code is social distance. I got you. Good. That's easy to remember.
Else, because I know you might not be able to go out until your pickup or your trailer was beat. If you can't do anything else right now because we're all limited, at least get you some mineral out. And I like to have a mineral site for about every 200 acres. If you have more in that 200 acres, it'll be great depending on your deer density, but at least have one for 200 acres.
So will one bucket or one bag of either head rush or whatever, will that suffice for one site, or do you need more than one bucket?
It all depends on your deer density. So right here, just the neighborhood deer density is insane. That one bucket right there will last me about maybe 3 weeks. And that's 20 pounds. Now, I have an insane deer density here. This is Central Texas. It's one of the highest deer densities in the world. I also have axis deer running around. And I think you're going to see at this time of year, if you've got a high density, then maybe running 3 or 4 inside that 200 acres or whatever it is.
Yeah.
It's really going to be, because somebody up in northern Maine or northern Wisconsin, where the deer densities in that timber country is really low, you're just not going to have it. Versus here, I think we saw 12 deer in the backyard this morning. So.
But I think the one more thing about this is a mineral site, unlike pouring a bag of attractant out or corn or under a corn feeder, your primary purpose for a mineral site is not to put a tree stand or a ground blind over it. Mm-hmm. This is really for herd health and deer health. It's not to try to kill that big buck.
Right, and you got to also remember too, once the hunting season gets in, their diets are eating different things that have higher mineral sources usually. So depending on your soil content and what they're eating, really in the fall, their need for minerals doesn't wane because it's the rut or anything. It usually wanes because of the diet. So, they're acorns or they're eating, these other things where they're getting that source of mineral. Now, we've seen it this winter when mineral usually doesn't work for us in South Texas. Well, it stayed warm and it greened up.
Yeah.
They were eating
a lot of crazy,
and they went after the mineral. And
we were going through a bucket in 2 days down the ranch rather than 3 weeks. Of course, the hogs will get on it pretty good too.
And I think you look at, like I was talking about the axis that we have in the neighborhood, and the axis deer, they are not browsers like whitetail are. They are grazers. So they are constantly eating grass and green and whatnot. And the legit mineral to them, if I lay that out, that whole herd will show up here and eat it in the night. And, mineral consumption, each animal can only eat so much. Mm-hmm. But axis year round just crave it. And I think that's a good way to show it because their diet is consistent across the board of food that's lacking minerals. So when they get that source, they go after it. but yeah, this isn't to set a tree stand up. This isn't to, um, you know, this is that extra boost for 30% of your antler that often gets forgotten, and especially if you're in an area that has soil that has low mineral content. But it's also making sure those does are healthy, and every doe has twins, and that every fawn makes it through with the right nutrition.
So let's talk really quick about In the Hunt coming up. Tell us a little bit. I mean, we have some new sponsors, some new guns, a new kind of our youth is coming up now. We're seeing them doing some things that we're proud of. Tell us about what we're going to see this season.
Oh, well, you've got, Daisy. I love that episode. She worked real hard on a buck that, we had seen last year. And I'm almost glad that Daisy didn't get it so easily.
Yeah.
There were little mistakes, and and then some of it was just circumstance, like just the way the dice rolled. So there's those, and we got a pretty good buck on Thanksgiving morning that my 8-year-old actually filmed. So
cool.
And I think that some of the better footage and some of the better things that I had happen actually don't really even revolve around a kill. There's some pretty cool stuff we captured this year. Everything from buck fighting right point blank range to deer really making scrapes. And God, just talking about this makes me. Can I fast forward to hunting?
You're right. Well, we also had some awesome products. I mean, I know that we were using some of the new all seasons blinds. We obviously rely on Big and J Swagger products, but there was a special gun this season that you were excited about that I know you're a big champion of. You want to tell us a little bit about that?
Well, I've been friends with the folks at Daniel Defense for years. I was getting message last night. From some of the Daniel Defense guys, because they apparently saw this commercial that I was in for USAA. So, Daniel Defense has been making some of the highest quality ARs there are. I mean, they've been doing it for years and years and years. And when they came out with that bolt gun the first time, that was like probably Marty and his engineers worked on that for probably 5-6 years because they wanted it to be perfect. And I love it. I love the new Timney trigger in it. It's a slightly different trigger. It's flatter, it's wider, but it really helps you line up the pad of your finger and control that trigger squeeze. And man, I mean, there were times I didn't get to use it because my wife took it. And,
right, yeah, we only had one, and everyone was fighting over who got to take it from the blind.
And so I know that they did not design it to be a blind gun. I know that, but I really, as I've kind of gotten into this age, I love the 270. I love 30-06, and I love those rounds. But primarily most of the hunting I do is either in a blind or it's on the ground rattling somewhere, because my addiction to rattling.
Yeah, right.
Both of those, really a short barreled rifle in those situations, or a shorter barreled rifle, man, it's just nice to have. And kind of the Sendero that Remington makes, that used to be kind of the benchmark and the yardstick for South Texas guns, but they all have 26-inch barrels. So I've just kind of gotten to where I really like that short barrel, and then the performance of it. I like the flat bottom. Everything about it, I'm pretty pumped about.
Well, we had a lot of success with it between you, your wife, Captain Ed, Captain Justin. So there'll be a lot for people to see with this gun in action on this upcoming season in the hunt.
Absolutely, and the ammo too. I've really gone to the ELDX. Is what I've moved to from Hornady. And I mean, you can see there's not much that can drop there. And with ammo, I see it a lot, and I've always had a lot of conversations and run this over the last decade. But guys will go buy a $1,500 rifle, throw a $2,000 scope on it, and then just go buy the cheapest ammo they can find And I really believe there's 3 bullets, and then there's the rest. And ELDX that Hornady makes. I think the Barnes Triple Shock is an excellent bullet, and Burgers are fantastic. You have to kind of decide which one of those you want to do, but the other bullets, you want consistency out of your bullet, and I'm not gonna, some of these cheaper bullets that I've had show up at the ranch, they might work most of the time, but I want it to work every time. I want to know the bullet is going to do exactly that, and I think that's a big key, and especially in the South Texas brush that we hunt in, if it runs into that brush, it becomes a mess, and we don't have this canopy that we can see across. Daisy's deer, we tripped over. Y'all tripped over it basically. I think ammo is an important part. Of course, you probably couldn't buy any ammo right now if you wanted to take any of my suggestions.
No. Well, I mean, it's a perfect time for us to release this new series. I'm excited about it. I'm really excited to get out of this house and get back to the ranch and start next year's hunts. So hopefully by sometime soon we'll be able to meet back down in South Texas and get everything going again.
Like I said, if you're making it out to your farm and whatnot, you can't do anything. At least get you some mineral sites out. Break the dirt up. There's a lot of information we have on the Big and J website about the seasonality of deer, and just
cool.
Get something started.
Stay away from people. Try to enjoy the time off. That's all we can do.
That's it.
Well, Josh, I thank you for coming on. We've gone well over. I think next time we're going to have you come on and give us an update on Swagger and talk to us about some shooting techniques. But other than that, thanks. Stay safe, and we'll see you later.
All right. See you guys later.